Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video if you like the video. And I won't tell if you click that bell. But let's go ahead and get into this. Well, the Giants made a few surprising cuts yesterday. The first one, by a mile, was Ryan Connelly. Now, Ryan Connelly last year was a 5th round pick, and he came in, I think it was him and Darius Slayton, 2 5th round picks, and both looked really good when they were on the field. Connelly came in, he had 2 interceptions, he had a sack, he looked fast, he looked able to change directions. He was a playmaker. When we drafted him, I looked at his tape at Wisconsin. He had no physical limitations as far as what the scouting report was saying, that he wasn't able to move, but he was able to get around the field really fast, in a hurry. Thumper, was great in pass coverage, so I was excited to see him come out and be a Giant. He got out and he balled out in his 4 games that he played. Tore his ACL last year, was coming off of that ACL. From what I saw from the reporters, he looked great in training camp. He looked great pretty much this entire offseason. They said it didn't look like he lost any steps. Apparently he must have lost a step because he was cut. And many people were thinking the reason he was cut was because of Devante Downs, who's probably a little bit faster, a little quicker. He's a hard hitter. He was on the Vikings a couple of years ago, and they're on their practice squad, I'm pretty sure. But he looked great this offseason. He was all over the place. You're keeping David Mayo on the roster to put him on IR. You didn't cut him. You didn't cut any of these rookies, Tay Crowder, TJ Brunson, Cam Brown, RJ McIntosh. I think we kept 6 defensive tackles. Is Ryan Connelly really worse than these people? So we still have time. Maybe he's a guy who will be re-signed in a couple of days, depending on how the rest of the league goes. But to me, it seems like a really questionable move that they made. Hopefully Devante Downs can prove me wrong, because he's another guy who's fast and physical, but I've seen Ryan Connelly do it in an NFL game. I've seen him do it multiple times. I haven't seen Devante Downs in an NFL game, and he got drafted in 2017. So that's something to take away. Hopefully he comes back. If not, I wish him the best. I think he's going to be a great linebacker. Maybe not, all-star linebacker, all-pro, but I think he's going to be at least a solid, good linebacker for some team. Another questionable cut was Grant Haley. Now, he's had his struggles. He had a couple of struggles last year, but I thought he was a pretty good slot corner. I was under the impression that Grant Haley was pretty much a lock to stay on the roster. He's experienced. He had a really great season when he was a rookie for the Giants, but he was cut. I think that another team will pick him up quick, fast, and in a hurry. Who knows why he was cut? Maybe they want to make sure that Darnay Holmes is solidified at that slot position. Maybe they think that another DB can play better special teams, but Grant Haley is gone. Again, it's not something that I care about as much as the Ryan Connelly situation, but Grant Haley was definitely, he was a solid player. He wasn't one of those horrible players like Jerron Hosley or Trevor Wade. He was a solid player. Sometimes he would have bad games, but other times he would have good games. And with his rookie season, he was really good in coverage. So I think he'll make another team really happy. Another surprise was CJ Board, who actually made the roster. So I'll put up a card for you guys to look at the video I did on him. But CJ Board is a guy who's been making a lot of highlight catches, but with guys like Alex Bachman, David Sills, who ended up getting injured, I think he would have made the team. Benjamin Victor, who's made a couple of plays, and Austin Mack. I think that a lot of those guys will end up on our practice squad, but CJ Board, I'm guessing, probably looked the best on special teams, and he made the roster. He's going to be pretty good depth. Maybe he can bring some of that receiving talent to the team, but he's going to be primarily a special teamer, and that's where he'll play. Johnny Holton was a guy who had multiple years of receiving experience, and he was seen to be a dynamic special teamer. So I don't know how Johnny Holton got cut and CJ Board stayed, but that's what's going on. And Really strange cuts that they signed Johnny Holton and they signed John Jalapio, and they didn't bring either one of those guys back. Lastly, another surprising cut was Cooper Rush. I was very sure that Cooper Rush was going to make this roster as your veteran quarterback who can provide insight to Daniel Jones. Now, Cooper Rush isn't too old, but he's been in this offense the longest out of anybody that was on this roster. And I'm thinking maybe they might bring him back as a practice squad quarterback to continue that relationship and building off of what he's already been able to do in training camp. I think that you might be able to get this guy onto the practice squad. And if so, that's a good move, because the only reason he would have been on the roster as that third quarterback was for his knowledge of the playbook. The final roster is set 1 week, not even a week. Thursday is the first official NFL game. A week and 1 day until the Giants play the Steelers. Monday Night Football. This is your roster going forward. Of course, in the next couple of days, you'll see some more cuts. You'll see some more signings from teams across the league. And the final roster will probably be set by Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it's solid. The Ryan Connelly cut is questionable, but I'll trust him. I'll say that Devante Downs is going to be a better player. We'll see how it goes. What do you guys think about this Ryan Connelly cut? Leave it down in the comments. If you made it this deep into the video, definitely hit that subscribe button. It's Diggy546. I'm out.